Aon, what's your reaction as an opposition politician to the plan? You've heard us saying that we thought it was less confused, perhaps, than was being, I suppose, it was being accused of. Is your position that it is clear? Are you happy with where Dublin stands?
Well, we wanted to support the plan. I mean, we actually are living in a situation where people are quite frightened and quite scared, and there's a huge amount of uncertainty. So when government comes out and makes speeches over the last number of months, we've welcomed them, and there have been moments of great clarity. And yesterday was a day that I was hoping was going to bring a lot of clarity, particularly to Dublin. But of course, what happened was that in making a grand announcement that Eamon Ryan had said was going to be more important than the budget, almost a third of the population were left asking themselves questions after the grand announcement about the various different steps and levels. Now, I think the plan makes sense to me. The 5 points it makes sense. It is coherent, and people can refer back to it. But when you take the capital city out of it and one third of the population, 1.4 million people, and say, well, actually, you're in between level two and level three, that is a confused message. And there was confusion between different ministers as to the travelling outside of Dublin, and of course the attendance at sporting matches, and various different other elements of it. So it would have made much more sense to me if they had decided to keep Dublin at two, or indeed just to announce Dublin at three, and all of us would have agreed with that or gotten behind that. If you're going to get people to accept the plan and to row in behind it, coming out and saying that there's an ish doesn't help. And I would have thought it would make much more sense to go with a level two for Dublin or a level three for Dublin, and then to explain as the rationale as to why that is. To come out and say, actually, you're at level two,
All
but
right.
here's a number of added restrictions, means that they then have to explain the added restrictions,
Okay.
and then we all have to try and explain the added restrictions, and it isn't clean, and it isn't neat, and it doesn't help.